21 Pilots have returned with a not-so-new track, Drag Path. Now, I have spent quite a long time kind of worming my way into becoming a 21 Pilots fan. I've made loads of videos about them on this channel, and I will admit, just straight out of the gate, the 21 Pilots community is one of the nicest fan bases I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. Every time I've made a video kind of like sampling some old songs or listening to new ones as they've come out, all of the comments have always been extremely encouraging. It's always been like a community that seems really happy to see new members join. So it makes me very motivated to keep on following them because they're really interesting. Not all of their music is like really for me, but I appreciate pretty much all of it. And some of their better songs, well, not better songs, but some of the songs that align with my music taste more, I really like. So I'm always here to see some new content, and this one's got an interesting story behind it as well. So this song is technically already released, but it came out as a bonus special edition for Breach, their album that they released last year, and apparently it was only available for like a week, and it was sort of, it had like a window where you were able to download it, and other than that it got taken off again. So it became, I mean, it's pretty smart, to be honest, to have this kind of like almost manufactured shortage of stuff, right? So suddenly people are sharing it online, it's getting this big kind of like almost cultural thing. I think TikTok had quite a lot to do with it, and I was just watching a video that also claimed that it also led to some really weird, interesting copyright stuff. So apparently, because it didn't have any kind of like official upload, you know, if a musician or an artist puts up music, they usually have some sort of reference thing that they upload to YouTube, which is then used to take down people who use it, you know, unfairly, which is a system for copyright, which as a reactor, I battle with quite a lot, and I definitely do have some stuff to say about it, but that's not the point of this. But what did end up happening was that I believe somebody else just found the rip of Drag Path, the original one, and uploaded it, did the paperwork, and claimed it as their own, and was like taking people's videos down and getting claims and stuff, which is completely mad. So I guess, I'm not sure how long ago that was now, but, you know, a couple of months, I'm going to say at least. So either way, as a sort of like bonus track, EP, whatever, they've officially re-released Drag Path. Apparently it's a bit shorter now, and I think they've re-recorded aspects, or all of it maybe, to kind of tighten it up, because I think, you know, the previous one was probably more on a kind of demo standard. I did have a quick look to see if I could find the original one to listen to as comparison, and without delving too far into the sort of like seedier side of the internet, I couldn't find it easily. So this will be my only and first actual listen through this song. So I'm quite excited because supposedly it was a fan favorite. People were really behind the song when it came out, hence the sort of word of mouth pass around, and the sort of, yeah, a kind of almost conspiratorial nature of its release. It kind of reminds me a bit of when Jack White released his album No Name, which is a great album as well, when he just had people at his shops just putting a copy of that vinyl in people's shopping bags without them even knowing, and refused to name it, and basically actively encouraged everyone to torrent it and share it and stream it with each other, which, you know, I feel like maybe as a musician with a big platform who's established enough they can afford to not make every penny off of every song, it's a pretty good way of kind of raising a middle finger to the sort of monopoly of platforms like Spotify and YouTube and so on and so forth. So yeah, you know, power to them. But either way, this has made me very interested to see it. So let us jump in and listen to Drag Path. Oh, that's Tyler. He looks God, he's very chameleonic, isn't it? Like, depending on what you dress him in, how you do his hair and beard, he almost looks a bit like Shia LaBeouf here in profile. Not that that's a compliment. And yes, I did see that this music video is made by this Tobias Gundorf Burson, who I had a quick look up as well, seems to have a history in doing cool animation, often shorts and stuff like that. Kind of a little bit Fantastic Mr. Foxy I've seen from screenshots. Apparently, Tyler approached him to make this music video, which is cool. Well, this doesn't look very animated. Okay. It's very 21 Pilots to have this like slow kind of chugging build up, just a little idea, just a little synth in your ear, a little kind of like string line that's very faint at the back there, just to sort of slowly sort of pull you into the world that the song is going to establish.
When I see the devil's eyes,
here we go. Oh, that's nice. I like the idea that they've kind of shown you these landscapes in the day in what looks like live action. I mean, to be fair, this also sort of looks like live action, but I'm guessing that it's been skipped into this animation style now, so it's quite nice seeing those day and night animated versus real kind of comparisons. And again, just Tyler's voice is so pleasant. He's just, even with these like very soft moments, and he's got a very chameleonic voice as well, but in softer moments, he's so, I don't know, empathetic. I've always feel like he's being completely like emotionally honest all the time. It's very pure.
You found me.
That's a nice little detail as well, mixed in with that organ.
Now know you're also there. 'Cause
I really like the tones being used there, specifically on that lead keyboard line. The dung 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 is somewhere between a grand piano with like a kind of bit of a synth, almost a bit moogie in the background. I know you've got lots of like spacey noises going on behind it, but the tones are so like kind of warm and fuzzy. There's lots of really kind of like nice brightness being put in there by whatever processor or compressor, whatever it is. But it really helps to make this quite sparse sound still feel very sort of warm and homely. And I think also the choice of chords, same thing, which is interesting because again, the voice tone at least is quite melancholic, at least for now.
a drag path etched in the surface as a
And interesting, we've got that kind of like almost military style drum line as well. That it's almost quite at odds with the rest of the kind of tones so far, which is nice. That contrast is often what makes 21 Pilots interesting to listen to.
on the surface. Can you find me?
Ooh, that bass. Oh, that was lovely. Just that little rallying moment, everything kind of like kept in for like 3 hits, da, 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 and then that little bass slide, because everything else is like dropped out against that boom. I think it just went up an octave maybe, but it was, again, the tones were also warm and like delicious. Kind of having that emphasis and that little flick over to kind of like tease you with more layers as they come in. It's genius. The production is really, really well put together. Okay.
A drag path etched in the surface as evidence.
And again, just so many beautiful harmonies being laid on there. The synths in the background are like making me chuckle a little bit. They're kind of like whoop, 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 whoop going on in the background, but it is nice. Again, it has this kind of like bubbly feeling to it.
For you to unravel a drag path etched in the surface.
Okay, I'm kind of picking up on what the lyrics are talking about now. This whole sort of like he's leaving a drag path. It's him being sort of like forced to change, but kind of kicking his heels in the entire time. You can kind of follow him through this sort of like involuntary, enforced change. And that is actually a really nice analogy. I mean, 21 Pilots lyrics have always been pretty good. They've always had some sort of like deeper meaning, some like nice analogies being used, some very clever metaphors. They've always bear like deeper inspection. Big hit? Okay. Ooh, was that like a bell, I think I heard, that's illustrating those points? Like every time you get that bang, 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 you get this like slightly bigger sound every time it kind of cycles back around, which is great because it does feel like the song is constantly going somewhere. And that bell kind of illustrating it, it's very interesting. It almost, this is going to sound weird, almost has like a kind of slightly Christmas music vibe to it. I don't know whether or not it's so that the drums are making me think of Little Drummer Boy, and now there's a bell in there too. My simple mind can't disassociate that, but it's not a bad thing. Oh no, the rabbits! Oh my god! This has gotten really dark. They're all having such a nice, wholesome time, and as the music starts to pick up, I guess it's kind of interesting, again, as an analogy for the sort of like drama that's going on screen compared to what I'm hearing. It definitely has this kind of like slightly synced up, like it adds this sort of like darkness to it, this feeling that the change is being enacted upon by a sort of scary, dark character that's about to kill your bunny family. Ah, there we go. See, that's the thing. As soon as Tyler lets his voice just like go, he's a one-man escalation machine. He just turns it into this like crazy experience by the end. He doesn't even need to do a whole lot. It's just his delivery. It really helps to elevate it. And then he's like being added with multiple layers of harmonies and synths that are all really enforcing that same melodic line. It's the melodies aren't that intertwining. They're reinforcing, which is very effective in a song like this. Okay. Yeah, again, the way that they're able to escalate this, it's essentially the same chords, but now you've got a couple of different overlapping vocal lines that are interweaving to kind of tie those sections together. And just as I paused here, the drums have finally changed pattern again. We've gone back into less of a sort of like drummer boy off, sort of like syncopated offbeat thing. And now it's kind of like he's smashing those cymbals. It's kind of got this it's spaced out as a sound, right? It's amazing how much impact a drum beat can do with that when you kind of go from this more snare and kind of tom heavy beat into this big open cymbal smashy one. It really does give this next repeat of the chorus just that extra little push again. That's definitely a bell. That's some bizarre imagery, but I like the live action hand being brought in there. It's very, I mean, yeah, it literally does have this godlike feeling, which is amazing because the music is firing on so many cylinders at the moment. If you compare to the opening bit where it was literally just Tyler on a piano line for quite a decent amount of time, it's really exploded. Haha, nice. That's a really nice detail. Oh, and it's a rabbit is being pulled out of the hat as well. I haven't quite figured out all the layers of, you know, like art attached to this, but I was not expecting that. I was thinking it was going to have to tie itself back to the opening shot again. But that was really nice. That was nice for a lot of reasons. The music video was great. What a great, like, choice to make. That filmmaker, whatever his name was, absolutely just nailed the feeling of that song. The way he was able to interpret those lyrics and sort of put his own spin on it to make this kind of like bunny story, kind of enact the sort of emotional arc that we're going along with Tyler with the vocals. Very, very impressed. That was really good. That should be the kind of thing that is sort of recognized in some sort of Grammy or something like that. This should be in the conversation for the next Grammys for good music videos, I think. The song itself, generally speaking with 21 Pilots songs, I prefer them when they're a little more energetic. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate the skill and the art behind it, but I find them a little less listenable. But as a piece of art, as a journey, as an emotional expression, it was amazing. Again, it's a very 21 Pilots trait to have the vocals and the sort of like emotion and the lyrics kind of being pushed through in such a way that it really carries and elevates it. It's one of their special sauce secrets, right? You've got this emotional fragility from Tyler, and then we've got Josh's drums kind of like just rooting it all together, just keeping it, and it's so perfectly illustrated, their dynamic with that military drum bit with the kind of like more lenient synth-heavy vocals for the vast majority of that song. Obviously everything's scaled together, but this sort of like rock and this kind of like fragility together is kind of what makes them special. I think the song is such a good demonstration of that. It's this beautifully produced, multi-layered, so many synths, like more instruments than I think like you would expect. Like there's that little bell chime there to sort of really illustrate a couple of the points as it kind of like escalates again and again. Some of the tones being used on there were utterly delicious. That's a weird way of phrasing that, but I do mean it. They were utterly delicious. Just this warm kind of fuzzy glow, like all the choice of instruments and the various EQs, like the production on it was just very, very tight. It's just a really good example of clever songwriting. The way they're able to, there wasn't loads of musical like ideas in there when it comes to like kind of chord structures and sections, but the way that they were able to feed into each other and perpetuate and get bigger and bigger over time, adding layers, that is, you know, a sort of sign of maturity. I think it's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of kind of like complicated musical theory, or at least having a very, very good ear to be able to do effectively. So God damn it, 21 Pilots, you did it again. I will continue to respect you more and more and more. One day I would love to go and see a live show. I get the feeling they're probably really good. So yeah, anyway, fans, let me know in the comments, how does this one compare to the original release? Because I couldn't find it, like I said. So if anyone heard both of them and can tell me the differences, I'd be very, very curious to hear about that in the comments. If you like the video, please click subscribe. It helps grow the channel and get my face in front of your face. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.